I'm one of those people that tends to think that school is bullshit. A lot of people think that for a lot of different reasons. Some people think that it's the school to prison pipeline. Some people think that it's misinformation being sent. Some people think all of the above. Along with being a place for indoctrination, teaching you how to work in a 9 to 5, stripping you of creativity depending on where you are, and the school to prison pipeline, I think that there's a more sinister reason for school. Now, all those conspiracy theories are valid, and it's been proven. I mean, everybody knows that scholastic books taught BS, and the school environment is pretty much like a jail environment, which is pretty much like a prison environment, and it's all pretty much housed the same way as far as the systematic bills and things like that, so that you can get used to a routine that also works in the job, in the labor industry. But what if I told you I thought that there was an ancient reason for that as well? Yeah, I got a question for y'all. Yeah, let's argue.
Hi, my name is Anthony. A lot of people know me as Big Bake. I am a father, a Prince Hall Mason, an artist, a veteran, and some will call me very opinionated. I created this podcast because I would like to have high-level, healthy conversations on a variety of topics such as relationships, religion, and politics. No topic is off limits. In this space, all opinions matter. Now, with that being said, let's argue.
I came to a realization. Mothers must think I'm dumb. Running lines. And it only made your nose numb. Cause I'm Big Bake with the flow. Throwing bolos. You ride bench and I'm bow nose. Two sport gang.
I'm one of those people that like to put together theories of my own. I am a person that does not think inside or outside of a box. I simply just think, and whatever comes to my head, I either let it pass or I put it into whatever I think my theories are at the time. Now, I'm a believer that everything works in harmony. Everything works in harmony. The universe is based on balance, and as above, so below. So everything is based on balance. The environment, people, animals, plants, everything is based on balance. And just like everything else, I believe that everything goes back to the ancient times. It was taught from the ancient astronauts that came here a long time ago. I'm one of those. I believe in that. Anunnaki and all that different stuff. I don't know if that's the correct names for them, but I believe that if the universe was here for however many years it was here for, based on the Big Bang theory, or the beginning theory of how light has spread, and since light is time and light is knowledge, all that different stuff. But that's a different podcast. It all goes back to it ties into an ancient meaning. Now, I'm also one that says that the Vatican acts like an ancient CIA, or an ancient intelligence source that's used to displace different things. Now, if the Vatican is controlling all of the ancient manuscripts and all that stuff to different DNA sets, and the CIA is controlling businesses and groups of different people to make sure that agenda gets handled, it's all, one and the same. Now, my question is, since Black people are being displaced all across the globe, it seems like every race of people, everybody hates Black people in some sect. Like, just like, the CIA gets naturally within groups and breaks it down. The Vatican might get naturally within DNA sets and breaks it down. Now, because I see that a lot of other groups stick to their groups. They stick to their groups for the vast majority of it. except for black people. Now, could it be possible that black people are the final piece of the puzzle to dismantle the system that is destroying everything? Because if you look at it for what it's worth, everybody in every race is not trying to dismantle black people. It's just certain structures within each race that is trying to. Usually it's based on religion, and it's based on people with bigoted traumas. And those are the people that was able to wiggle their way into everybody's DNA system, or, their prospective DNA system, and pervert it. But everybody wants to do what we do. They always mimic everything we do, our fashion, our slang, and everything. And the perfect example of that is Harlem influences the whole world. Now, if you look at it on a bigger scale, on a mid-level scale, you can see that black people are literally starting to do that. We're starting to stick together in different things, and every time somebody seems to stick together, somebody tries to tear it down, and I have examples of that. One example of that would be Drake and his team. All those guys have been systematically fucked with in some way. Not saying that a lot of different squads haven't been messed with in that way, but if you look down the line, I've seen every one of his guys and women been picked on at some point in time. And it started before the OVO stuff. It started with Nicki and Lil Wayne and Drake. They was being picked on first because they were starting to make bonds that was, sticking like family. And then on the other end of that, those guys probably being picked on too, but they choose to kind of stay within not stay within the confines of the system. This is my opinion. They don't stay within the confines of the system, but they work with the system more than working outside the system, and that would be Jay-Z and them. They choose to work with on a public scale. I'm sure everybody work with everybody, but on a public level, it seems as though they're more integrated in the system than, say, a Drake. And also, every time there's a couple major uprisings in different systems of black people, they're always pitted against each other in some type of way. In some capacity, they're always pitted against each other by somebody that's usually outside of the cast that's able to infiltrate them. And those infiltrators don't always look like infiltrators because they were ingrained naturally. They've always been utilized, but they suggest. They say things that would make you turn a side eye when things might not be that important. They just keep them going. And some people are more sensitive than others, so they react faster. Where am I going with this? I think that I personally think that if all DNA sets were to kind of stick with their groups, not on a racial thing, but people think that people sticking with your groups is racism. No, racism is hating other groups for not being that group or thinking that you're better than other groups. But if groups stick together and mate within their own groups and do that, what it will do is it will make your DNA advance. And when you make your DNA advance, you get more clarity within what your natural purpose is supposed to be. And when you get more clarity in what your natural purpose is supposed to be, you will know where your DNA set fits in with the environment. And when you know where your DNA set is supposed to fit into the environment, it won't be work. Because you're doing what you naturally like. You're doing what you're naturally supposed to do within that environment. And it'll always be harmonious. Well, some things have clashes. Everything have clashes. Galaxies clash planets crash into each other. Everything crashes into each other. There's things that happen that causes things to collide. But for the natural order and the balance of things, it will be better. Now, I could be wrong. I like to have these type of conversations. So I'm having these conversations with the world. I'm just introducing ideas that I think in my mind so that we can upgrade that conversation. I'm sure there's millions of people that's having way more advanced conversations about these topics, but I just happen to be a loner that be by itself all the time. So I have these conversations in my head. But that's that. I could be wrong. And I don't mind being wrong. If I'm wrong, check me about it. Let's have a conversation. Let's argue. Let's talk about it. Leave me a comment. Talk to me. I'll talk back. Let me know what you think. Let's argue.